Welcome, Realty One Group Terminus family. We have Kelly here today to describe our new partnership with Smartzip. I'm going to pass it along to Kelly and let him dive right in. Kelly?
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, good connecting with everybody. Appreciate y'all joining on the call today and people who are watching the recording here. Yeah, excited to meet with you. Just a quick background, introduction to myself. My name is Kelly Shannon. I am account executive with Smartzip. And I also have my license in Florida. I've been licensed here just over a decade. I got into real estate primarily doing acquisitions for private equity funds, real estate trusts, a lot of large institutional real estate investors. And since that time, I've acquired close to 200 million in single family residential for my investors. Um, a lot of it on market MLS stuff, but there's obviously a need for trying to find opportunities off market and get in front of sellers and source properties. So that's ultimately how I discovered Smartzip was through doing those acquisitions, trying to find a smarter, better way to source off market properties. So of course, good for investors, good for agents trying to get listings. So what I'm going to do today is kind of tell you a little bit more about Smartzip, how we kind of operate, and really the goal being identifying likely sellers in a particular geo farm, people that, are showing signs that they're going to be moving in the very near future, and then helping you getting that first conversation with them so that you can be first in the door and win the listing. So the way we do it's a little bit unique. I think the best way to describe it will really be by sharing my screen. I can kind of go over the presentation, tell you a little bit more about how we do it. It's really going to be data driven. We're using, artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, smart algorithms to be more targeted. So at the end of the day, you spend less money, but then have a much higher return by focusing on the right group. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And like I said, I'll kind of dive right into it. And then Adrian, maybe you can kind of give me a nod, make sure that it's looking good. You see it says smart targeting popping up. You got
Good
it.
to go.
Cool. All right, sweet. So just quick background on Smartzip. We're the first company to leverage predictive analytics in real estate. When we were founded was back in 2008. It's about $40 million that went into the company. The National Association of Realtors, NAR, they were one of the initial investors, and they leveraged a relationship with Intel, where their team of data scientists came in and built out over 200 unique algorithms that are sifting through data, kind of looking for patterns. Currently, we're the second largest data provider in real estate, only behind Zillow. So I just like to let people know that, so don't think we're a couple guys working out of a garage or a basement, on our app. I mean, this has been fine-tuned for, again, over 15 years, and really does improve kind of over time. Preferred partners now with you guys, but also with, most of the major brokers out there. A lot of big real estate tech companies, they leverage our AVM tool for automated valuations. And the key driver, again, being predictive analytics, right? So some of you are familiar with that term. Some of you maybe not so much. It's used in every industry. It's kind of looking at historical behaviors or patterns. You know what happened in the past, using that information to help you decide or figure out what's going to happen moving forward in the future. So the way that I like to describe it in real estate is you think about a subdivision. Maybe there's 2,000 properties in that subdivision. If you target everybody, you're wasting a lot of time and money. And national average turnover rate is only about 5%. So we're saying, okay, well, don't target everybody. Let's get a little smarter about it. Maybe we run these algorithms on that geo farm. Maybe we only target the top 5 or 10% of properties. So right off the bat, that's where you're going to spend less money. And what we'll typically do is double, sometimes 3, 4, or 5x that turnover rate. So now you're focusing on smaller groups, spending less money, than having a much higher return by focusing on the right audience and the right people within that subdivision or the zip code or the county. So the way that we're identifying which properties and homeowners to go after, it really falls back to the algorithms that Intel built for us. We're looking at 25 data sources, public and private, over 2,000 unique attributes. Things you'd expect, right? How long has somebody lived in the home? How much equity do they have? Are there distress signals? They're behind on payments and pre-foreclosure status. Yeah, okay, that's going to factor into it. What really makes us unique is life events. We are looking at death and divorce records. If somebody had a death or divorce in the family, there's a very good chance that they're going to be in the market to sell probably in sometime in the near future. Maybe somebody's retiring, their kids are graduating high school the same year, they took a new job, they're military, they've had a VA loan for 5 years, and we're seeing, there's a good chance they might get restationed. Hey, these are people that we want to get in front of. We're even purchasing what I tell people is like the creepy data. Google search history factors into this. So does credit card purchase history. So a lot of people don't realize that's being tracked and bought and sold. But if we see, okay, in your zip code, John Smith just retired, he's Googling homes for sale in Florida now at a very high rate. That's somebody we want to get in front of. So I was at the NAR conference about a year and a half ago, and they put out a stat saying 82% of sellers listed with the very first agent that they spoke with. That's like exactly what we're trying to do. We see these signals happen. We want to get in front of them early and often in the process to make it seem like you're that neighborhood expert, and then have that first conversation that you're going to be in the driver's seat to help win the listing. We have the ability to do a pre-territory evaluation. So as you all are thinking about what markets that you want to focus on, where do I want to get more listings, what areas are there opportunities in, I can show you trailing 12 months historically what happened versus what our algorithms predicted. And that'll give us a good opportunity or estimation for turnover, potential gross income, ROI, and things of that nature. So I'll show you an example of that at the end here, how that looks. And then I'll also share my contact information. You'll have my cell phone number, a link to my calendar, my email. So you can schedule time with me. We can look at your zip codes and then build something out that kind of makes sense. Keep in mind this data that we're scrubbing, it's not stagnant, right? Say we select the top 1,000 sellers in a particular zip code. A lot of them are going to sell. It's our job to help you get the listing. When that happens, they fall off of your list. The next likely seller moves up. So it is a dynamic list. It's always going to be going after the off-market, most likely sellers in a potential farm. The marketing is how we make it actionable. So this is kind of like the done for you, service where, hey, once we'll provide the data, we can also automate a kind of a multi-channel marketing campaign to get you in front of them early and often. Where the first thing we'll do is actually purchase that homeowner's computer cookies and then proactively target them with online ads. So they're going to see your name, your face, contact information popping up in front of them on their phone or computer about 3 to 5 times a week. Google, Facebook, Instagram are the 3 main areas that we were going to put those ads. Google is about 85% of websites. So if you think about weather.com, ESPN, Home Depot, they're looking at recipes, they're going to Yahoo Finance. These are all places that I've seen my ads and I've seen my client ads pop up. So they're very sticky. I tell people these are like billboards. If somebody clicks on one of those ads, we're typically going to drive them to a custom landing page that we've created for you. They can go in, see their estimated home value, some neighborhood comps and trends. And at the same time, it is a lead capture site. So when they're engaging with your marketing, you're going to get an email, a text, a notification in the system. Hey, John at 123 Main Street, he's thinking about selling in a couple months. He had a question about his home value. Here's his contact info. So it really creates that handoff. I'll show you what the landing page looks like here in a minute. You can incorporate that into your website. There's API integration for your CRM. New lead comes in, kicks off in your CRM. So there's a lot of other tools that we can access. But again, I tell people these are like billboards, really good branding. While that's going out, we typically recommend 1 piece of direct print mail per month also. Some of our highest response rates still come from these postcards and letters that I'll show you. Holding up an example here. This is the 9x6, right? High gloss, heavy card stock. We have over 500 templates. You could also go in and upload a custom image. So if you had something unique to your market that you wanted to promote or send, perfect, throw it in there. On the back, the call to action is going to be important, right? We have the homeowner's name at the top, so it's addressed specifically to them. They have a unique key code and QR code that's linked to their address. So we're getting them to engage. They're getting value from this. The call to action is usually a little different. We're not like, hey, call now, email today. It just doesn't work as well as compare your home to your neighbors. What would my home sell for in today's market? Kind of softer touches that are getting them to engage with this marketing. Of course, your picture's on the back, your contact info's there, your brokerage, so they can reach out, they can call, they can email. And but again, I'll show you the workflow when they scan the QR code and what that looks like. Maybe January, February, send a postcard. In March, we can say, okay, well, let's kick it up a little bit. We'll do one of these digitally handwritten letters instead. Looks like it's written in ink at the top, signed in ink at the bottom. You can change that to felt point. You can change the look and feel of it. And then change the messaging, right? The interior portion, introduce yourself in the first one. Talk about the market. Maybe you have a unique call to action that you can offer. Your only real engagement once you set this up is you'll have a calendar. So we're in August. I usually recommend send a letter first. Hey, introduce yourself. Again, talk about the market. Try to get in front of individuals. September comes up. You log in. Let me tweak the online ad people are seeing. And then I'll select from the templates of postcards. Find one that I like and hit approve. So again, it's not going to take up a lot of your time, but to help you get in front of these right people. And then when they engage with it, that's when you just pick up the ball and really work to get the deal. So say somebody does scan that QR code or they click on one of your ads there. We give you 4 landing pages. This is going to be the most popular, the smart home price. We do an onboarding call. I have a really good support team. I work closely with my clients to make sure you guys are set up. Spend a little time up front here to dial it in, change the background picture, make it represent your market, some of the verbiage here. And then When somebody lands there, they type in their key code or address, they're going to get a bird's eye view of their actual property. There's the look of it, little snapshot of their market here, some facts about their property. They're on the list for a reason. We know they're more likely to sell based on some of their characteristics and life events. Now they're engaged with your marketing. We want to further qualify them, get their name, some contact info, ask them, when do you think about selling? You thinking next month, maybe next year? When they do that, we're going to do a couple things. One, we're going to retarget them with online ads, so now they see even more on their phone or computer. We'll add them to an email drip campaign where they get 8 emails over 8 weeks. Subtle touches, seller tips, all things that are branded with you, kind of keeping you top of mind. And then you're going to get notified, right? You'll get that email, you'll get that text. They'll at that point see a range for their estimated home value. They'll see some neighborhood comps and trends, some value here that they can engage with. And then all along, you as the agent are going to be reinforced as that neighborhood expert. Your picture, they get your bio down here. There's a chat feature. So a lot of times this estimate is an icebreaker. It's like, oh, well, the home next door sold for a little bit more than that during COVID. I wonder why. Hey, we replaced our roof and our kitchen in 2023. Is that factored into this estimate that I saw online? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Oh, now you're having a conversation. Your foot's in the door, right? It's an icebreaker. Oh, well, Mr. Homeowner, every market or home in our market's unique, right? I'd be more than happy to provide a more accurate CMA or market analysis for you. I saw here that you were thinking about selling in a few months. Oh yeah, well, we just retired and the kids are down in Florida now, and whatever it might be. Great. You're having that conversation. Hopefully it's the first one, and nurture them, add them to the pipeline. So again, that's going to be the experience. We have ways to link this to your CRM. You can engage with that. But really the goal is, hey, let's lean on the data, identify who's likely to sell in your market, and then kind of get your brand everywhere. There's the old sales adage. It takes 7 to 10 touches to get branded. We're doing that. Online ads, 1 piece of mail per month. They're seeing you in the email. So that's really going to be the goals, that ads, the mail, the data. And then the way we tie it all together is really the platform. So it is very simple to manage all of your campaigns here. You'll have a list of your contacts right off the bat. You'll know who is on the list. Here's the top 500 people, 1,000 people, whatever we select. Ultimately the cost for this campaign will depend on the number of homes that we select in your zip codes. We can map out a subdivision if you want to target, where you live or a certain area on a geofarm, and then how much marketing that we do. So based on that combination, let's start at a place that makes sense based on your budget and your goals, for this year, for moving forward. Once you start crushing it, great. Call me back. Let's scale it up. We can organically grow as you kind of measure success, and then reinvest back into your marketing and go from there. But this platform, again, you'll have a calendar, so you could say, hey, August, I'm sending a letter. September, October, these postcards are going out. I'm going to change to online ad. It is very good for retargeting your sphere. You can upload your previous buyers and sellers, your church group, your softball team, neighbors, throw them in there. Great. Let's make sure they're seeing your online ads. I do this same marketing. Like I said myself, I threw my mom in there for fun. She's looking at crockpot recipes. She sees me pop up. Oh, you're famous. My boss, he just gives me a hard time because he does go to Yahoo Finance every morning. He sees my ads on there just because I'm targeting him for the hell of it. But when it's recognition, you're top of mind when they have that conversation, with their friend. Oh, I'm thinking about selling my home. Oh, go talk to Kelly. So, and then also when they're thinking about selling their property again, you're staying relevant. You could also do one-off postcards. You probably don't want to mail your sphere every month, but send them a holiday postcard. Ask for referrals around June, July. Let them know you're still out there grinding. You're ready to help them when they're ready. So, and then we can even rank your sphere. So you give me 1,000 people, I'll tell you which ones might be likely to sell again using our analytics. Just listed sold cards. I mean, there's all kinds of other little things to do in here. But really, the goal is, hey, let's identify people in your farm that are likely to sell. You don't know them. They don't know you. Let's change that. Add them to your sphere now, and then grow your pipeline. So that's kind of going to be the goal. Again, we want to help you be consistent with this, not take up a lot of your time, and just be a lot smarter in the way that you're farming and working to get listings. So that's kind of it for the presentation portion. Again, there's a lot more we can dig into. Oh, you know what? Let me go back, because this is where I can share my information too. I'll put this up here. This is my contact information. That's my personal cell phone number I've had since I'm 16. It's not changing. Call me. They might email me if you have questions, or you have a direct link to my calendar. So I would say this is probably the best place to start. If you want to look at the data in your market, hey, these are the zip codes I'm interested in. I'm kind of curious what it would look like, what the analytics look like, what the cost is. Scan that QR code. Feel free to throw, 30 minutes, hour, however much time you need on my calendar, and we can really dig in a one-on-one and look at things. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of open up for questions for a second to see if people have questions about this, and we'll jump in and look at some of the actual data here in a second. I'll look at some zip codes and kind of show you how our analytics perform and kind of improve the overall turnover rate.
Any questions from our attendees? Feel free to drop it in the chat or drop it in the Q&A section so we can go ahead and get it addressed. Again, going back to what Kelly's presenting, man, this is literally smart targeting, right? You're identifying those people who need what you are offering, right? And then you know exactly what messaging to deliver to them because you know where they are, or you have a better idea, a better grasp of who's looking to sell. So again, it's about getting in front of the right people with the right messaging at the right time. And this helps with all of those components. So again, any questions, feel free to drop them in um, while we have them.
Yeah, and we can always, connect on those later. Like I said, people can reach out to me personally with questions.
For
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, real estate is a relationship business, right? I mean, we got into it a lot of times because it provides freedom. It's a fun industry. The marketing isn't necessarily the fun part of it. I mean, it's essential. You need to get in front of a new audience, you need to build your brand, create exposure. But it can take a lot of time, if you do it incorrectly, or if you're kind of trying to piece it together yourself.
Yeah.
So it looks like I did see a question come in here. Can you specifically look at divorces or any other specific category demographic? So with regards to that, we cannot create a filter specific for like a death or divorce. There's a lot of RESPA compliance around this that we need to stay compatible with. We are a publicly traded company, about $100 billion organization. We're part of Constellation Software Group, which is on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So there's certain things that we need to do to make sure that we stay within our boundaries. While a lot of those things are going to be factored into our algorithms, we can't necessarily filter those demographics specifically. We can filter though based on property style, estimated value for the home, ownership type. So if you wanted to target just single family detached homes over 500,000. Okay, perfect. Hey, you want to target absentee owners, because people are selling their rental properties or their vacation homes. We can do that. So there's certain things that we can filter for a campaign, but not necessarily based on demographics.
Great question, though, Clarence.
Yeah. So feel free to pop in if you have other questions, just throw them in there and I'll be happy to answer them. And then we can also connect on that later as well. But that was all my contact information. Again, you'll have this, I'm sure, in your back end when you look at the video. And then Adrian, can you see my screen again here? You can just nod. Which shows the data here with the graph. Yeah. All right, cool. So this is an example of what we would do. You come to me and you say, "Hey, Kelly, I'm interested in getting more listings." I just pulled up two zip codes. I went to Adrian's Zillow and I saw that these are two homes that he had listed recently. It was in 30101, 30141. So I like to pull them up so it's at least more relevant to you guys' team and audience. What this is doing is this is looking at the trailing 12 months historical data, what our algorithms predicted versus what happened in the territory as a whole. So in those two zip codes, there's about 26,416 single family properties. Again, you target everybody who's spending a lot of money. You're also wasting a lot of money. So we're saying, hey, let's run the algorithms on top of this geofarm, on top of these two zip codes. Out of the 26,000 people, we rank everybody based on those algorithms Intel built, 2,000 attributes, 25 data sources. The way that we score them is this graph down here. It's a scale of 1 to 9. And think of it that way. Where the far left 900 bucket, those are the properties out of the 26,000 that we said are the most likely to sell. Hey, let's target them, get in front of them. 800 bucket, still high likelihood to sell. Then it goes down from there. You get down to the 100 bucket, don't waste your time. They just bought the home, they refinanced, they're sitting in a trust that's not going to move. So that's kind of how we look at them. Out of the 26,000 properties this last year, in that 900 bucket, we narrowed it down to just over 1,000 homes. So we said, don't focus on the other 25,000, focus on these top 1,000 homes. We think they're more likely to sell. Within the 12-month timeline, out of those 1,000, 196 actually sold. So had you targeted them with ads, with mail, they're on your list, they're seeing you consistently, you'd have been play for almost 200 listings. That was a 19.3% turnover rate, just about 1 in 5 of the people on the list. If you did market to all 26,000 people, or you just picked a subdivision or, kind of did, mass market shotgun approach, 5% was the average turnover rate. So that's pretty close to the national average. You said, hey, let me just target everybody. You're seeing about a 5% turnover rate. We said, no, target a smaller audience, spend less money. We'll get you 19% turnover rate. That was just about 4 times more effective in that regard. So that put you 300% more effective just targeting the people on our list. So that's a really good example. Again, we could apply filters on top of this. So if you decided, okay, well, I like those zip codes, but I only want to focus on single family detached homes. I only want to target homes again over, $350,000. There's a number of other filters that we can apply, like I mentioned, residency type, ownership. We can look at all of that and really dial into what makes sense for you, or we can figure it out together. Hey, what does the data say? Okay, let's focus on that. Every listing you get, you should get buyers, right? You hold an open house, you can get buyers from that. You might help them buy their next home if they're moving across the street or downsizing. So there will be crossover, but this is going to be really the first step is getting you those listings to get in front of the right people. And then cost. I won't necessarily build out an entire quote here, but again, the cost is going to depend on how many homes we target, how much marketing we do. We could take all 1,000 people. You could take top 500 people. We could add more zip codes, take the top 5,000 people. So that 250 is really the minimum size farm that we look at, and then 500 is a pretty average size farm for a lot of my individual agents. As you get bigger though, and you want to close more, great. Do 1,000, do 2,000. So what we would do in that scenario would say, okay, well, 1,000 people we think are likely to sell. Let's select that for our group. All 1,000 people right off the bat, their names, their address, their estimated value. We could skip trace emails and phone numbers for you. So if you wanted to start cold calling, door knocking, doing email drip campaigns, you can certainly do that. And then the next page here will help build out the marketing. So if I take the top 1,000 people in those two zip codes, right off the bat, I'm gonna say, let's do Google, Facebook ads. It's only $99 a month. They're all gonna see you 3 to 5 times a week now on their phone and computer. Instagram, if you wanted to add those, it kind of bumps it up a little bit to $249. Depends on your demographic and your market. If you think that sellers are active Instagram users, great. Let's hit them in multiple areas and include Instagram. So again, this is all customizable. The mail, you can break this down how you want. We recommend 1 piece of mail per month, usually split between 8 postcards and 4 letters. And then all in cost for that, $1.27 a postcard, $1.48 for the letter. USPS is always changing their rates. I don't know when you're watching this video. We'll do the best we can to honor these prices. But you can select the full territory. Let's target all 1,000 people with the mail. The more we do, the better. Typically, the quicker it's going to work. Maybe we want to start with the top 500 sellers. So again, this is all customizable on how we do that. And then once you build it out, the cost again is going to depend on that number. It usually comes between $1.50 per property to $1.70 or so per property. That's if you're doing the all-in-ones per month. But again, we can really customize this based on your budget, based on your needs for starting, and then scale it up as we go. So we are doing some promotions with the brokerage. I spoke with Adrian before, and we want to make sure we're providing value to you guys, obviously, which is here, but we also want to give you some incentive to make sure that we're giving you the best price. So we're going to do a 50% data discount. So off of the predictive insights, the list of the sellers in your market will do 50% off. And we're also going to significantly discount the initial setup fee to make this just easier to hop right in and get rolling. So connect with me. Again, we'll take a closer look at those numbers, what that looks like, and build something out that works for everybody here. But yeah, I'm excited about the partnership. I'm excited to meet up with all of you and help you kind of grow your business.
Appreciate that, Kelly. I just wanted to add a couple of things. And I don't know if you still have the graph readily available,
Absolutely.
but did anybody notice the fact that that bottom tier, I think you labeled it the 100 mark?
Oh
You'll
yeah.
notice that 0 people transacted down there, right?
Yes.
So you're literally, how much money are you saving by not sending them mailers, by not, utilizing your resources to go after those that we know aren't getting ready to list, right? So they protect you on the top end and on the bottom end and everywhere in between, right? And I don't want to sound salesy, but you guys hear me talk about we're in the business of prospecting. If you're not prospecting, if you're not lead generating, you are not building a business, right? So yes, you can do lead gen services and pay for leads or whatever that might look like on that behalf, but this is prospecting, right? And then again, they literally package it together with very incredible, reliable data to hand deliver the people that you should be reaching out to, right? So again, I appreciate you for sharing this with us, Kelly. I appreciate you guys working on those promotions for us. Any other
Absolutely.
questions while we're still here and got a little bit of time left?
Yeah. Happy to answer more questions. And I appreciate you to bringing that point up too. Yeah, the opposite of the data here. We actually have solar panel companies that want to purchase this data from us. They then know people who are not going to move, so they can try to pitch solar to them. And a couple of the notes on the mail and stuff, when you talk about, yeah, saving money and not targeting the right group. When we do the mail, we make sure to, if it's an absentee owner, that the homeowner address on record is getting it, where they have their tax record, where they receive their mail. We also do USPS verification checks. We don't, people, I'm sure you've all done postcard campaign before, and then all of a sudden you get like 30, 40 of them back, which is like, well, that was just a waste of money. We do a deliverability check, so you're not getting that return mail. So there's a lot of other little things that we fine tune again over 15 plus years that just make this a lot more dialed in and focused. And then yeah, there was the one question about pricing. I think I probably went over that. Again, it's going to vary depending on the agent, the need in the market. So connect with me. I think I shared my contact info. So reach out. I'll type it in here as well, my calendar link real quick in the chat. So anybody who wants to connect with me on a Zoom meeting like this, just feel free to schedule some time and we'll jump in. We'll keep it light and we can really go over everything in your market and come up with a plan that works.
Love it.
That's my calendar link.
And also this information, as well as the rest of our partners, they will be added to one marketplace as well as one hub. So all you guys will be able to just literally click on one of the tiles and, like in this case, get directly to Kelly, get directly to his calendar link as well. And then we'll also have an overview of what our current promotion or partnership looks like, so you have an idea. And then obviously they're going to do their best to honor those depending upon when you do sign up with them. But yeah, we're going to make it very easy for you guys to be able to connect with them as well. So
yeah, we'll take care of you. But yeah, I appreciate everything, Adrian. Look forward to working with you guys and your team. And yeah, happy to be a resource. Just call me anytime if you guys need anything at all.
sounds good. Thanks again.
All
Y'all
right,
take
take
care.
care now. See you.